Hi, I'm Chris. I do drone and camera tech reviews. Today we're going to be talking about my very first drone, the Emax Tinyhawk 2 Race, and why it should be considered your first drone. Just a general disclaimer, any products I mentioned today, I was not paid by anybody. I do have Amazon affiliate links below. If you wanted to purchase, it helps the channel. The Emax Tinyhawk 2, this is how it's supposed to look like, and this is how it looks like now. After my 10-day training session in DRL Simulator, I really wanted to get my very first real drone. I was looking for something that would meet the following requirement. I just wanted to have something that I can fly in my backyard, small, discreet, tough, and crashable. What is this Tinyhawk 2 race drone about? It's from the line of the Tinyhawk series. There's 3 variations of this. There's the Tinyhawk 2, which is a tiny whoop, the Tinyhawk 2 freestyle, and this is the Tinyhawk 2 race. I picked it up for $114. Comes with a nice carrying case. You can put this in here, but you have to remove the foam insert. One set of props. These are the Emax Avant Blur props. These are 1103 7500 kV. You get 2 batteries, which are high voltage, and then you get 1 Emax charger, which charges to HV and the standard volt. You can charge up to 6 batteries at one time. This runs on 2 PH2 connectors. The basic construction is that it has a 2mm carbon fiber plate on the bottom. It's about the size of a baseball. These motors are, I think it's like proprietary. It's direct soldered onto the board. There's a plastic canopy up here, as well as it runs a Runcam Nano 2. This is a all-in-one board. There's a D8 receiver. It has a VTX that can go 25, 100, and 200 milliwatts. On the stock configuration, I get about 100 meters, so that's about a football field. You get relatively clear footage and good penetration. If you're cruising around, you get about 5 minutes. But if you're punching it, you get about 3. So yeah, enough talking. Let's do some flights. So my very first flight here was on 1S. Kind of putters along. You'll see a lot of vibrations happening. It's been known that this has to run on 2S batteries. It comes with this jumper cable, which turns this into a 1S, and it flies okay. You won't be doing flips. It's a good way to get your bearings straight with this quad. I went to the park next. Nice open area just to test the range. I was getting about 100 yards or so. I would get breakup at the fringes at the outside, and then yeah, I did my very first flip, so which resulted in a crash. Luckily this thing has a beeper, or it has the ESC that beeps, or the motors that beep. I don't know how that works, but really good controllability straight out the box. I was flying relatively high because I didn't want to hit my kids or anything like that, and just so I could see what this thing can do. And this thing is quick. It goes 0 to lost in no time. It does have those characteristics as a race drone. So you have to be on your game if you're flying it in the house. But because it's small and light, this only weighs like 70 grams. When you crash, it's not bad. You're not going to break anything. Unlike if you had a 5-inch drone, you're going to definitely damage something, either a prop or worse. I've hit this on the wall, the trees, even landed on concrete. And this thing lasted. As you can see, there's a bunch of grass stains on here. There's a slight lip on the camera, so it does offer some camera protection. I did notice when you hit something, the screws get loose. This is really easy to move up and down. The minute you hit something, you might be at like a 45-degree angle. You might not be used to the angle trying to fly back. Pros I'm going to be talking about is it comes with everything to get started. Next, it's small. It fits in the palm of your hand. The carrying case is relatively small too. Really discreet. You can take this almost anywhere. It's not intimidating like a 5-inch quad or anything like that. This is fast and powerful enough to get you out of trouble. There's going to be a tree in the way. You can easily either punch up or maneuver around. Top speed says 50 miles an hour. I believe it. You're able to do freestyle. Nick Burns said it best. Don't worry about having a freestyle quad. Fly your drone the best way you can. And I was happy that this can keep up with bigger drones. Surprisingly, this has good range. Actually, I can fly around my house with minimal breakup, but I would recommend putting the receiver and the VTX in this kind of position to maximize the range that you're going to get. And finally, good flight time on stock batteries. It's not great, but it's good enough to get started. It's relatively punchy. You can even put larger batteries. I flew it on these 600s. 5 minutes with these batteries. The cons I have about this drone, while it came with everything to fly, it doesn't necessarily come with everything to fly. It doesn't come with any spare props or batteries. You won't get the best range right off the bat until you secure your antennas in place. Also, if you do pull these off, there's no connectors here, so they're direct solders for both the receiver and the VTX. I'm gonna have a video later of what I did, because I did pull these two off accidentally. It's not for the faint of heart. The solder pads are really small. Definitely do make the conversion to XT30, because this thing is already a 2S quad and recommended to be a 2S quad. It should have came with a XT30. You have to buy and solder it yourself, but these batteries are, I can see why they went with these, because let's say you're coming from a beta FPV or another 1S quad. You have a bunch of these and don't want to waste them. Because these are PH2 connectors, it does get kind of cumbersome to put the two on at the same time, especially if you strap them in place. The cord is relatively small. You may be fumbling around for a while to attach the two at the same time. The camera angle does get loose after a crash. Maybe you might want to put some rubber grommets in between the camera and the frame. Also have a screwdriver on hand so you can make that tight. What I've learned is everything about Emax is very proprietary, minus the camera. There's two sizes here, and that means the frame is odd as well. Yeah, the motor layout is very proprietary. I feel it's smaller than the standard 9x9 format. If you guys are thinking that this is the ultimate backyard basher, yes it is, but it's not for beginners. This is really fast. You can grow with it, but definitely do take your time. Recommendations: more batteries, definitely get more props. Start off in the field. Don't be like me, start off in the backyard. Get used to the speed and then slowly ramp yourself up. Start with 1S just to get your bearings, then move up to a 2S. When first starting off, you notice that this thing is really twitchy, so lower the rates. Add lots of expo. I'll put my rates here. This is what I currently use. I use an expo of 0.6. And then also, because this thing has a lot of punch, I definitely look at modifying your throttle settings. Change this so mid stick is not at 50%, it'll be at 85%, so you get more low end resolution. Definitely secure these antennas in place because they will get chopped off. Take some precautions, so heat shrink them in place with zip ties to be standard practice. Have a screwdriver set on you wherever you go. Clip the PH2 connector and then actually put on a XT30. It is recommended, even if you move up to a 2S, stick with the 450 milliamp. While it can fly with the 600, it'll be just kind of sluggish. When you move to these 2Ss, you get with the XT30 connection, you get improved battery life. Cruising around about I've hit about 6 minutes, and then if I rip it around, I get about almost 4 minutes. When you get a little bit more advanced, put a longer coaxial, which help with the range. Look into putting right hand polarizers, antenna, those lollipops. Final conclusion, would I recommend this as a starter drone? This is definitely a good starter drone to start with. I learned just with all the like using betaflight, internals, having to repair things. This is relatively robust. After some time with this, I've been getting into tinkering. I've actually put an Insta360 Go 2 camera on here, and it does carry it. It is heavier. It's relatively stable. Hopefully you liked it. As I progress on as an FPV pilot, I'll be talking more about this kind of stuff. If there's things you guys want to know about my journey so far, leave a comment below. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hit the like button if you guys like this episode. Subscribe and hit the bell button. Fly safe, be safe, and see you guys next time. Mahalo.